Empowered Teaching, organized by the Department of Research and Development, SK Research Group of Companies. In today's fast evolving educational landscape, ethics plays a crucial role in shaping responsible educators and learners. This FDP is designed to reinforce moral values and ethical principles in teachings, ensuring a more empowered and impactful learning environment. We are honored to have two distinguished research persons with us today. Dr. Malini William, Computer System Engineer from Bourntec Solutions USA. Welcome, ma'am. And yes, Ms. Meenakshi, Assistant Professor of English from Christopher Arts and Science College, Women, India. Welcome, ma'am. Their expertise and insightful will undoubtedly provide valuable perspective on integrative ethics into education, fostering a culture of integrity and strengthening the foundation of ethical teaching. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all participants. Let us engage, learn, and grow together through this enlightening session. Welcome to all. I would like to invite Ms. Malini William to take the session, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. I would like to express my founder of SK Research Group of Companies for offering me this wonderful opportunity to be part of this faculty development program. Thank you, sir. So, a special thanks to Mrs. T. Saranya Devi, Project Manager, so R&D section, and Mr. Ilayaraja from the organizing committee for their continuous support and engagement. So it is an honor to be here among such esteemed participants and speakers. So the topic of today's FTB, so ethics in education, so strengthening values for empowered teaching is something I am deeply passionate about. So I look forward to sharing my insights on learning from the so diverse experience of everyone present. So thank you once again for having me. I am excited about an engaging and insightful session today. So it's great to be here today to talk about something really important. So ethics in education. In the next few minutes, so I want to share my so why ethics matter in teaching and how we can use strong values to make our teaching more powerful. So first, what is ethics in education? So when we talk about ethics in education, so we are talking about the rules and values that guide how we behave in college and school students. So it's about doing the right thing, so being honest, respectful, and fair. As a teachers, we not only teach subject, but also help shape the character of our students. So how we act is just as important as what we teach. So why is ethics important? So ethics help create learning environment so where students feel safe, respected, and valued. So when we follow some ethical values, so first one, students feel respected. So they are more likely to trust us and feel comfortable in classroom. So everyone is treated fairly. So every student deserves the same chance to. Good example, our behavior. So teach students how to behave and treat others. So in short, ethics make sure that education is not just about knowledge, but about developing good and responsible people. So key ethical values to focus on. So there are some key values that we as a teachers should focus on to create a positive learning environment. So first, respect. So every student deserves to be treated with respect. So when we show respect, students will feel valued and will want to learn. So second one is integrity. So teachers should be honest and trustworthy. So when we act with integrity, so students know they can rely on us. So next, responsibility. So teachers and students should take responsibility for their actions. So this helps build a culture of accountability. So fairness. So every student should get the same chance to learn and succeed. So fairness is about giving equal opportunities to all the students. So how can we strengthen ethics in education? So to make ethics a strong part of education, we need to take some following steps. So first, training for teachers. So teachers should be trained not just in their subject but also in ethics. So this helps us reflect in our behavior and make good decisions. So create a culture of ethics. So schools should set clear school and college students should set clear rules for how everyone should behave. So this makes sure that fairness and respect all a part of everyday college and school life. So lead by examples. So say teachers, we should always show the value we want to teach. So when we act with honesty, respect, and fairness, students will follow some our examples. So the benefits of ethics in education, so everyone benefits. So teachers feel empowered. So teachers who follow ethics values so feel more confident and satisfied with their work. So students grow into so responsible people. Students who learn in an ethical environment so become responsible and caring individuals. So conclusions is ethics in education is not just about following rules. So it's about the creating a positive, respectful environment so where everyone can thrive. So by focusing on values like respect, honesty, fairness, and responsibility, so we can become better teachers and professors and help our students become a better people. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to invite um, Meenakshi ma'am to take the session, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, all. I wish to thank SK Research Group of Companies for giving me this wonderful opportunity in this wonderful day. And this is I think, the third international FTP they are organizing. I'm very happy to be here, and it's a very great initiative. And I think this is the need of the hour topic because education nowadays is going in a track which we need to focus whether it is going in a right track. So this is the need of the our topic, and ethics is the major important aspect we need to focus on in this current scenario. So I really thank Saranya ma'am, project manager of SK Research Group of Companies, for organizing this wonderful FTP. And I thank all the participants here. I thank Dr. Satish Kumar sir, and I thank Gayatri ma'am and Yogeshwari ma'am, those who are here in the organizing team. And I wish to extend my humble thanks to Malini ma'am for a very short and sweet but a clear cut uh, FTP as a FTP theme speaker. She has given the entire entire aspect of this particular FTP in a very short and sweet and clear cut manner. And let us move on into our topic. I am going to discuss today the thing which we need to focus on as a teacher and the thing which a student need to develop as a student. What are the things they need to develop beyond academics? So while we are talking about education, while we are talking about higher education, we know the word academic, we know the word marks, we know the word academic results, academic excellence, everything. But the thing we need to focus on is ethics, which is connected to the word academics. So I'm going to share my screen over here. I'm going to start my session with a question. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Visible,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, thank you. So, beyond academics, the ethical role of teachers in students' development. So, I'm going to ask you two questions. One is, what is ethical role? What is the word ethics communicating to us? 。 . 。  . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . 。 . 。 . . . 。 . . 。 . 。 . . . 。 . . . 。 . . . . 。 . . . 。 . . 。 . . 。 . 。 . . . 。 .
。
Why this word is given that much emphasization and importance in this FTP? What is ethics actually, or generally? Can anyone? Can anyone? Can you please tell, or what is your understanding about ethics? What is your understanding about ethics and ethics in education? Everything, anything. Is okay. So ethics is about the moral behavior and moral grooming. That is what ethics. And there is a set of standards for living a life, or living in an academic area, or living in an institution, or living in a workplace. There is a standard. There are a set of rules and regulations that we need to follow to satisfy the super ego. So we human being, we knew very well, each and every one of us having ego as our part and parcel inside an individual. But the thing we need to know is superego. That is, we need to handle or balance the situation without hurting others, without affecting others, without creating any harmful impact on others. That is what ethics. So ethics is a moral behavior or standards set in this world in order to keep the social relationship healthy, and as well as keeping the relationship in a productive manner and making a constructive result out of that. So ethics in education is the most essential part, because a teacher, a student role, it has a two-edged sword role. The teacher has to grow, as well as the students also has to grow. If a teacher grows, the student will grow. If a student grow, the teacher will definitely get something from their growth. So teacher is also a learner there. So in this process of relationship, there will be a connection, there will be a collaboration, there will be an understanding. So all these things can be attained only through ethical thinking, ethical involvement, ethical emphasization. So here I'm going to share you a question to you. What are the things, or what are the ethical roles a teacher need to play in a student's development beyond the academics? What is your opinion about it? Can anyone point out or list out the ethical roles of teacher as a teacher to students beyond academics? Anyone? Am I audible?
Audible, ma'am.
Yes. Can anyone answer to my question? Actually, if it is an interactive session, it will be more easy for me to communicate the thing very well, as well as it will be easy for you to be here without any boring sensation. I think so. That's why I'm asking you a question. And I want to know what is your understanding and what I'm going to communicate. Anything, any idea you can share? Yes, okay. So there are many ethical roles are there. As a teacher, we are not just one who has professional values, and we are not the one who is going to carry only the professional role, only the professional. Not so. And we are not just a facilitator in education alone. We are the facilitator of holistic development of a student. That is their social development, cultural development, ethical development, psychological development, and emotional development. Many roles are there for a teacher. So ethical roles contains the things social, how the teacher help the student to integrate with the society as an interpersonal interpersonal skill set, and then how a student can emotionally handle everything, psychology handle everything, and but the purpose of education is to contribute to the society or utilizing it somewhere in their life. So while they are applying all the things that they are learning, they need to know how to mingle with the society, how to contribute the society in a 100% perfection. For these things, they need to know ethical standards. So here we are going to learn many ethical roles are there. As a teacher, we can learn, we can implement many things inside a student beyond academics. Now we are going to see only 3 E's. Okay, so ethical role, we are going to see 3 E. So these 3 E's are very important. As a teacher, we need to know, and we need to impart it into students. We need to cultivate it into students. Definitely, these 3 E's help them to grow well in their career, and definitely they'll be a successful person in their career. And these 3 E's or the foundation or the stepstones or something like which is the base for everything. So can you guess, can anyone guess what are the 3 E's? Maybe what may be the 3 E's? The roles, which is these three E's are words, the words connected to ethical role of teachers. Am I audible? Can you able to follow me? Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, I'm audible, ma'am.
Okay.
My guess equity, excellence, ethics, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Wow, super, ma'am. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to tell you the 3 E's, which are very important. Actually, equity, excellence, these are the things very important as a teacher should impart into a student. And these 3 E's contain the entire aspect of ethical role of teachers. That is, these 3 E's are connected to each and every aspect of teacher's role in student's life. So as a student, if they get these 3 E's, they can accommodate or they can adapt, they can mold all the other ethical standards that they need to learn while they are traveling in this journey. So the 3 E's are empathy, emotional intelligence, ethical thinking. And I am focusing on these 3 E's because these 3 E's are the necessity of the current scenario. So nowadays, the students got affected not because of their low mark, not because of their low productivity, or not because of their things which they get through academics. They are disappointed, or they get low mark, or they lose their focus in education. Everything happens in the main line or due to emotional impact, psychological impact. So nowadays the students need to know how to handle this emotion. So the first of all, empathy is the thing which helps the students to grow or develop emotional intelligence in them. If they attain these 2 steps, they can reach the ethical thinking. Okay, what is the teacher's role in this 3 E's? As a teacher, we need to make the student aware of the word empathy. And also, we need to teach them what is empathy, and we need to make them understand that they need empathy to attain emotional intelligence and attain success in their career. So empathy, there is 2 words. One is sympathy, Another one is empathy. Sympathy everyone has, innate, that is by nature, by birth. Every human being has sympathy. While we are looking at someone is suffering, definitely we feel bad. Anyone, any human being, they'll feel, every one of us, we feel somehow bad about their condition. So that is what sympathy. But empathy is not, it is an innate quality. Actually, by birth, many of the individuals, they have empathy, but empathy is the thing which we can learn and groom, and we should groom empathy. Then only we can cross the bridge of sympathy and come to the path of empathy. Because of that, we can attain emotional intelligence. So let us know what is empathy and what are the things empathy will impart in a student, and how it will help them to attain successful academic growth. So empathy is the greatest lesson, that it is in a superlative degree. So it has no equal. So the greatest lesson a teacher can impart is empathy. Empathy, a teacher should impart. A teacher should teach the students what is empathy and make them aware of the word empathy and make them attain empathy in their life. They can groom, they can mold, they can understand what is empathy, and they need to develop empathy in order to become a successful personality in their life. So I have told you the word holistic development. So most of the teachers, we knew the word very perfectly, and we knew very clear that holistic development is the thing which a student could attain or should attain when they reach the end of the degree, or when they reach the end of the schooling, everything. So this particular holistic development, it has the foundation on empathy. So empathy, it's a greatest lesson which a teacher has to impart in a student. Okay, what is empathy? Can anyone say? I have a differentiate sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is just anyone can have, and everyone has in their actual life. But empathy is something different from sympathy. If anyone knew the or know the literal meaning or direct meaning of the word, you can say. I think the chat box. Anyone? Could you guess what is empathy? Yes, yes, Reshma. Very good, very good. Concerning from their point of view. Okay, can you say there is an idiom for it? There is idiomatic word, idiom phrase for it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your answer, Reshma. And it is putting yourself or put yourself on other shoes. So this is the idiomatic phrase or idiom about this particular concept. Put yourself in other shoes. So we need to play the role of the person who is suffering. Then only we can understand what is their feeling. So if someone is having a trouble in their life, they are crying a lot, as an individual, we'll just focus them. If you take the classroom scenario, some of the student or one of the students from the classroom, she is crying or she is feeling bad and she is sitting alone, and many other students are there. They may, or all the students in the classroom may feel bad for the student, and they think why she is like this, why she is like that, and why didn't she mingle with us, why don't she share something with us, like that. All the things which are going in our mind or the student's mind. But The one thing they need to know is they need to go into their place. And what is the problem? They need to identify the problem, and they have to sit in their place and think themselves as them, the people who are suffering. That is putting ourselves in their place or concerning in their point of view, and we need to think out of their point of view what is happening in and around their life, and we need to, or we try to solve the problem. This is the thing a student should know inside a classroom scenario. So we teachers, we need to impart this particular lesson to them. This will create a deeper relationship among the students. So the students, they are an individual entity. They become an individual entity, or they are living as an individual entity while they are entering into a classroom or while entering into a world. But while they are traveling along with their life, or while they are moving forward in their life, they need to travel along with the society. They need to travel with along the social relationships. In order to strengthen the relationships, social relationships, and in order to create bond among the students, they need to know the word empathy. They need to know the feeling empathy. Then only they can create a deeper relationship with their classmates, with their schoolmates, or with their persons who are traveling along with them in their life. Even though maybe it is their family member, they need to know the empathy to understand their situation, empathy to understand what is happening in their life. So it will create a deeper relationship, and it will build a stronger moral relationships. So ethics is concerning about moral relationship, moral behavior. So empathy is the foundation. This is the stepping stone or stepping part from which are the first step of the ladder. They need to step in, and then they can create a relationship. They can understand, started concerning others, started feeling the value system of others, principles of others, their sufferings, everything they started to understand one by one. So this will help them to maintain a good relationship among the students, as well as the teacher student relationship will also strengthen. So we are focusing teachers role in students development, and we teachers, we also need to know what is empathy, and we need to develop this empathy in us. And we know very well teachers are the role models for the students, and students, definitely we are the mirror, we are the mirrors for them. So they see us and they started to grow the empathy in them. So the thing is, teachers need to impart all these things first in their life, in their skill set, in their mind, and then only they can make them accept or involve in this aspect of life, and they can attain the education in a profitable or productive manner. Okay, how will this empathy helps us to develop the teaching learning process? If a student starts to understand others' view, he or she started to know or started to analyze the text, analyze the lesson, analyze the happenings in the lesson, analyze the theory in the lesson in the point of view of the creator, those who introduced or established the theory, established the lesson. For example, if you are I'm belong to literature, what I used to do is, in my classroom, I taught the novel or poetry, anything. I actually, I just tell them what is there in the book or what is there in the text, and I'll raise questions to them. I ask them, what do you feel if you are like this, if you are like this tree, if you are like this man, if you are like this person, what will you do in that place? What is your ending to this story? What will you do, and what will you create as a theme of this story? What will you create as a ending point of the story? All these questions I raise to the students. Then they started to think about the particular character, and they put themselves in their shoes, and they started to pour out their own understanding and their own ending to the story. This will help them to understand the life in a perfect manner. And academics is actually the major essential part of the student's strength or student's development. But if it is not connected with the ethical standards of the society or life skills, it is definitely will not be a complete or perfect contribution from them to the society. The academic result will not be the actual or the 100% result of the student to the society. If they started to understand the ethical standards as well as the academic value, academic strength, if they have the both the strengths, they can be the very good contributors to this world, and definitely they'll be the masterpieces of this world. And out of this empathy, there are many things which will arise. By developing empathy, the students can attain conflict resolution. This is the major thing in nowadays scenario they need to understand. There are conflicts in and around their world, in their home, in their family, in their friendship, in their classroom setup. Even though nowadays teacher student relationship, there are a lot of problems, there are a lot of conflicts. Many of the students fail to understand the dedication of the many teachers, and many times it is in the opposite direction, controversial position, everything happens. So in this situation, empathy helps them to understand the conflict resolution. They started to gain how to resolve this particular situation, how to handle this problem, everything. And they started to accept differences. So this is the next major thing they need to know. They have a lot of knowledge, they can be a subject expertise, but they need to know the acceptance of differences. If they have the acceptance of differences, or acceptance of difference of opinions, acceptance of difference of arguments, there is an idea in their mind to implement it in their working place. But they need to know there might be or there must be difference of ideas will be here. So we should not think our idea is entirely very unique, entirely good, entirely correct. So they need to accept the next thing. Acceptance of differences actually or automatically develop because of this empathy. And they started to reduce prejudices. Actually, prejudice is the most dangerous monster in a human being life. So definitely a student or a teacher or any individual or everyone should avoid prejudice, because human beings nature actually prejudice everything, every aspect of life. We started to prejudice. This will be like this will be like that, definitely this will be like this only, like that. We used to do a lot of prejudices, prejudgments. But the empathy helps them to reduce prejudice. So they started to understand gradually and very, very patiently, very quietly, very calmly, they started to understand each other. And ethical decisions, that will help them. Empathy, the development of empathy helps them to achieve ethical decision, taking ethical decisions. So nowadays we see many how to say, the violent act happens in the society is from student community. This is a most pathetic thing we are nowadays witnessing. The student, those who are doing ragging, many violent acts they done. And many murder cases, 12th standard, 11th standard student name lists are there. So they don't know how to take ethical decisions. So they need to know the value of ethics, the standard of living, and they need to know what is moral behavior, what is moral standard, everything. All these things can be developed when they started to develop empathy in them. And this will help them to understand the leadership skills. Automatically they'll groom as a very good leader, and they'll become participatory. Nowadays many of the students, all the teachers in the teaching scenario, they face this particular difficulty, that is make them participatory. They'll be passive always we find the teachers find the students are passive while we are asking question, while we are playing game inside the classroom, while we are asking them to do stand in front of the classroom and do some activity and do some acting or sing some song or dance, whatever things we used to do. The most difficult aspect is participatory, making them active, making them participatory is the most difficult concept of teachers nowadays. But when the teacher focusing on developing empathy, participatory become an automatic process. This is happening actually. I am doing all these things in my classroom setup. Definitely, if you ask my students, they say my class will be lively. But one thing which is boring is I used to teach in a large large manner. That is, I'll try to input them a lot of files in their head about a particular topic, but they'll become participative. That is what we need. And then self reflection, they started to reflect their self without any hesitation. Mama, I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like this. This is not correct. My friend feeling very bad. You should not treat her like this. They started to reflect and they started to tell what they feel about the situation, what they feel about the problem, what they have as a solution for the particular problem. They started to pour out all the reflections while they started to understand what is empathy and emotional resilience. So they can control emotions in the very better manner. They can actually emotional control is the major aspect a student need to know. Then only they can become a holistically developed student, because emotions play a vital role in the role of success or in the journey of success, whatever it is. If it is a teaching career or professional career or a personal career or personal life, family life, anywhere we need the emotional resilience. So this will be automatically developed because of the empathy that they grew inside their mind. And as a teacher, how can we impart empathy in these students? So I'm giving you here an activity, walking in my shoes or walk in my shoes. And many of us know the word role play. So that is what walk in my shoes. So as teacher can create a scenario inside the classroom and ask them to imagine the students need to imagine themselves in the situation of others, or else we'll give some topics and ask them to speak. So this will help them to develop empathy. They started to think in the mind of others. They go into the mind of others and they started to think what will be the solution, what will be the problem, how they feel, how they affected, how they get such and such and things, how they can overcome all these things. They started to create an impact of emotional baggage in them that will help them to understand others from their point of view, and they can develop empathy in a very happy manner. So walk in my shoes, actually many of the faculties we are facing today is we are having very little time to complete our portion. So other than academics, it is not we are not having that much of time to focus on these all these things. But we can do one thing: we can create the lessons or academic situation into this activity. Like as we are English literature people, I ask them to speak on one of the character. Like if we take a Shakespeare drama, we can take Othello, the character, and ask them to come to the front without any preparation on the spot. Ask them to act like Othello, or give Othello dies at the end because of his jealousy towards his wife, and his a suspicion towards his wife. He commits suicide at the end. So I will ask her to say, wow, in you play the role of Othello and tell what is in his mind while he is committing all these deeds. Then they started to pour out, they started to think on their own. While we are in that situation, what we will feel, what we do, what we might do, or what is the correction we can do. So this will help them to develop empathy consciously, unconsciously, in both the way. And role play, we can give role play and we can make it as a group activity. So teachers must do this inside the classroom in order to develop ethical aspect of the student. And then next topic is emotional intelligence. So teachers, as I said before, emotional intelligence should be developed by the teacher first. The teachers should have emotional intelligence. Then only they can impart the emotional intelligence to the students. So empathy is a cornerstone of emotional intelligence. I have already told you, while we are started developing or while we are started grooming or focusing on empathy, automatically it will move to the corner of emotional intelligence development. So, emotional intelligence, what is it? We are having cognitive intelligence, that is practical intelligence. We need to do this, we need to do that. In this situation, we should not speak like this. In this situation, we should be calm. These are the practical application of knowledge. And we are having the money in our hand. We go and buy something in the store and we pay the amount. We have the practical intelligence. If this is the 100 rupees, I am getting the product for 50 rupees, I need to get back 50 rupees as balance. This is a practical knowledge, practical intelligence we have. But emotional intelligence is the thing, understanding our emotion in every situation. That is, we need to say presence of mind. We should not be an absence of mind people. Even it is a teacher or a student or an individual, presence of mind is very, very essential. So what is our emotion? What is it doing? What will be the result if I show it? And what will be the consequence if I show this emotion to others? So we need to control it immediately, spontaneously. We can't take much time. If there is a situation where we need to control our anger, we need to control our anger. Automatically, we need to do that. We can't take much time to control it. So immediate, spontaneous knowledge to control your emotions or handle your emotions or pour out your emotions. That is what emotional intelligence. So while we started to focus on the development of emotional intelligence, the students started to understand their own self perfectly. There is a saying, while we know who we are, who I am, who we are, then we can achieve this entire world. So the thing is, a student should know who they are, who I am. They should ask the question, who I am, who I am. Then they should find out, I am this, I am that, I am this person, I am that person, I am extrovert, I am introvert, I am ambivert. They need to find out who they are. Then they can understand the society, they can understand the world, they definitely achieve whatever happens around them, whatever problems crossing in their life, they can achieve, they can succeed in their life while they are aware of their own self. So emotional intelligence helps them to groom the quality self awareness, and they can become emotionally regulated. Emotional regulation, they started having a switch in their hand. Here we need to switch off the anger, here we need to switch on the happy face, here we need to tolerate this situation, we need to switch on the tolerance mode. Everything they started to regulate like a fan, electric fan regulator. And they maintaining composure in stressful situation. Definitely, while we are in stress, we don't know what we are doing. After some moment, while we come to the tranquil state, that is calm state, we started to understand why do we do that thing. We should not shout at them. We don't we should not do that. We should not do this. Like that, we started to understand after a state of calm, after a state of throwing out, pouring out all the stressful acts and deeds and words from our mouth and everything. But The emotional intelligence helps them to maintain the composure, balance the situation, balance the stress. They can act very perfectly to maintain the stressful situation into a peaceful situation. Even they are in a stressful situation, they act like they are in a peaceful situation. They can spread their lips and they can smile at the situation. They can handle it in a very happy or healthy manner. And emotional intelligence help them to develop intrinsic motivation. All these words the teacher should know, then only they can impart the things inside the student, uh, by understanding the word and the importance of the word, everything. So intrinsic motivation means, which is the thing driven by their desire, not by external rewards. That is, while a student is under the control or under the supervision of a teacher, they behave well. They listen to the classroom. They'll be calm. They will not pass any comments. They'll be very calm. They'll be very regular inside the classroom. They'll be punctual. Everything under the supervision of something. But the student should be a human being or an entity by driven by their own desire, not by external rewards. So they need nobody's supervision in their life. So emotional intelligence help them to develop this intrinsic motivation. They think in their self, this is our situation, we are living in this area, we need to do this, we need to achieve this rank, we need to definitely join this competition. No, I will join this competition, I will overcome this, I will speak in English, I will become fluent. They started to like become like, I will do this, I will do that, I will do that. And they will not think about the external rewards. And nowadays many of the students mentality is, if they get reward they will function, otherwise they will not. Wow, they are asking me, why ma'am we need to put this much of effort, what we will get? Some students, some of the students of mine, they used to ask me, ma'am, we are having a UG degree, that is enough ma'am, because we need a salary to live, that's it ma'am. Why we need to focus on PG degree and we need to study a lot and lot and lot? What is the purpose of it? What will be the reward of it? They are asking me. Then I said, each and every degree has its value. Each and every learning has its value. So each and every year of learning has its value. If you are learning 3 years and trying to get a salary, it will be like even though you are getting 1 lakh salary, it will be like a 10,000 salary. It will be valued as 10,000 salary, because experience teaches us more. Experience makes us to reach great heights, noble heights. I used to tell them. So they are focusing on rewards. What will be the result? What will be the reward? I will get a 1 lakh salary even I finish UG degree. Why should I focus on PG degree? The teachers should uproot this mentality of this student, because they need to motivate, self motivated by themselves. They should have the desire to become an unique personality, and they should think, I should be a contributor of the society. I need to do something to the society, I need to do something using my knowledge to my family. Anything they need to have some particular goal and aim and some noblest cause. That is the thing we need to make them understand. And emotional intelligence help them to communicate effectively. Am I audible? Can you follow me? Actually, I'm speaking
Yes,
monotonously.
ma'am. Audible, ma'am.
Okay. And can you understand what I'm teaching and what I'm going?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, emotional intelligence, which is going into the next step, effective communication. Nowadays, communication plays a vital role in every aspect of our life, whether it is our personal life or family life, or else our life of marriage, or life of career, or life of our journey, anything, anywhere, we need communication. That is, and to effective communication, then only it will help us to succeed or mold ourselves into a greatest personality. So effective communication will develop automatically when you started to emotionally become emotionally intelligent. Actually, emotional intelligence is the aspect. It is very hard to train our mind to become emotionally intelligent, because human beings, we are closely connected to emotions. So especially women, children, we started to cry, we become more sensitive than men. But nowadays it's changing, but majority of women feel the same. So emotional intelligence help them to understand or become an effective communicator in this society, and which will in turn create an impact in their academic result. Definitely, it will create an impact in their academic result. While they are started to understand their emotion, understand others' emotions, and they started to understand their parents' emotions, and they started to understand their dedication for their education, and how much my father, how much my mother is suffering to make me an educated children or make me a successful children. See, they started to understand others emotions, and also they will go on in their path of goal. They focus on their goal. While they become a emotionally intelligent person, they just focus on their goal. They never ever bother about whatever happened in and around in their life. So definitely it improved their academic result. And stronger self-esteem, they can create stronger self-esteem. They feel they are respectful person. I am dignified, I am respectful, I need respect, I need self-respect. I am a human being, I am with this education, I am with this qualification, I am having this and talent, skill, development, everything. I am an illiterate, so I want a self-respect. And they started to respect their own self. And emotional intelligence help them to develop self confidence. So confidence automatically develop. And then tolerance is the most important word. Tolerance, acceptance, these two words play the major role in a successful career. So tolerance, it will be developed automatically. And so emotional intelligence, Goldman's theory of emotional intelligence. So there is we can as a teachers, we know many of these psychology books, teaching learning books are there in the market. So many theories are there: teaching psychology, teaching learning psychology, student psychology. Many theories are there. So out of those theories, or among those theories, there is a theory, Goldman's emotional intelligence theory, which we should focus on much. So Daniel Goleman introduced this theory in order to inform us or instruct us or warn the teachers that nowadays scenario or current scenario or developed nations or civilized nations need this type of emotional intelligence in order to make the student a profitable product or entity in this society. So this will definitely help the teaching empowerment. Definitely teachers or empowered teachers will become empowered teachers while they focusing on the ethical roles of while they focus on ethical roles to develop students. So I'm giving here the emotional intelligence development. There is an activity, feeling charades. So feeling charades is an activity in that you can make one of the person to make one of the student to involve in the activity and ask them what they feel. I have given here some listed out some of the questions. Self-awareness question: how do we know this person is feeling this way? We ask them to uh, stand in front of the classroom and ask them to be, you think you are a person who is suffering out of poverty. Then we will raise questions. We can raise questions like, how do we know this person is feeling this way? How might this person manage or express this emotion in a positive way? And feeling charades, we can do another one thing also. The thing is, we can ask the student to imitate some of the emotions like happiness, sadness, those phases. They can create phases of sadness or emotions like that, and they create happy phase. They should not speak or they should not verbal words. They just act the feeling anger or act the feeling happiness. And the students, those who are in front of him as an audience, they need to interpret what is the emotion, and one of the students may tell the answer, how the emotion will be, how the feeling will be, how the emotion can be dealt in a positive way. So they can share their own views. Then it will help them to better understand the emotions, each and every emotions of human being. They can understand it first, and they can understand how to manage it, how to create it in a positive gesture, and how they are feeling while they hurt somebody, how they feel. Then they started to understand the feeling of getting hurted by someone. Then they will not hurt anyone easily, because they understand, they started to feel the feeling. So this we can do in a classroom setup in order to make them emotionally intelligent. And when was the last time you felt this emotion? How do you usually respond to this emotion? And how can you understand others feeling, which will help you to work together in better in classroom, better about teamwork. You can raise all these questions to the students and ask them to get reflect over this or respond over this view. This will help the student. Actually we are putting themselves into the pool. That is, while a person need to learn swimming, we need to throw them into the pool. Likewise, the students throw themselves into the pool of emotions, and they started to understand emotion, interpret emotions, analyze emotions, and they started to involve in the emotions in a very healthy manner, and they can become emotionally intelligent. And then ethical thinking. So while we impart emotional intelligence, empathy, automatically the student's thinking will be developed into a ethical standard. So ethical thinking, which will be the foundational, which can be the foundational for teamwork. So they started to understand the value system. They started to understand the moral attitudes, moral behaviors, everything, especially justice, honesty, fairness, respect for the others, everything. These qualities are very very important and very very rare qualities. Actually, many of the person in the world, many of us, we are going in a wrong track. That is telling survival techniques, the word survival techniques. So survival techniques make us to feel like, while we are a person of honesty, while we are a person of fairness, that is not a survival concept nowadays. But that is not so. Definitely, um, as I'm in this career 7 years since 2018, what I follow as a teacher is, I used to become honest, I used to become justice, fair, and I'll give respect for others' feelings. This make me a successful personality till now. And definitely, I can say the teachers, while they are imparting these three E's in them, definitely they can see their students in a very great heights. Actually, I am witnessing in my life, my students are in great positions. Of course, I am just 7 years working, but I can witness or I can show you their greatness because of this noble concept. So definitely the teacher, or actually I'm requesting all the teachers should develop these three E's in a student. And accountability for actions. Actually, there is a concept, if we commit a mistake, we should have the guts or brave or courage to accept it first. Yes ma'am, I did it. Yes ma'am, I am the one who did this. And yes mother, I am the one who did this mistake. I will correct it. I'll take responsibility for this. This braveness, this courage, this brave act should be should be accumulated, should be accommodated, adopted by the students. That will be the great beginning for them. So while they started to become empathy, or they started to become emotionally intelligent, they started to think ethically, and so they can develop, or they can automatically show accountability for their actions. Yes, I have done this. Yes, I accepted this. Yes, I agree with this. I did this mistake. Definitely, I will correct this. This attitude should be developed. And then personal integrity, they started to be aware of themselves. They started to collaborate with their own intense knowledge and their emotions and their behavior, attitude, behavior, ego, super ego, identity, everything. They started to integrate or collaborate, communicate, conjoined with all those things to make become a successful personality. And social justice, they started to learn what is social justice, and they started to become active citizen, and they started to give and receive constructive feedback over their action or over others action, and preparing life beyond school. So this is the actual quote which is compiling all these aspects in it. So we are teaching teachers, we are teaching, preparing them to the life which is beyond school, which is beyond marks, which is beyond profession. So these three E's are actually important. Okay, how it will create impact in their academic? Definitely, while a human being become a person with values, a person with character, a person with discipline, definitely he can be a successful person in academy. There is no what to say, there is no objection, or there is no mistake, there is no mistake in my opinion according to this. So there is no equal to ethical roles or ethical values to develop a student into a holistic person. And then there is a theory by Gotsky. The theory is zone of proximal development, which is imparted in Russian school. So this theory says that a student can, there is a gap between independent action of student, which can be connected to the teacher as a facilitator. So while the teacher started to become a facilitator in ethical reasoning and ethical development, the student can develop a very good moral reasoning, a very good moral ethical thinking, everything. So this is what the theory says to us, and it has three concepts. One is can do without assistance, can do with assistance, can't do without assistance. For example, if we give a mathematical sum to our students, a teacher gives a mathematical sum to the student and asks them to solve it. We didn't tell the formula or anything to the student, just give the sum and ask them to solve it, give result to it, and the student started to do the work. Definitely they lack in the formula, or they lack in the step which is in the advanced level. There the student goes, the teacher goes inside and asks the student to implement this formula in this particular mathematical sum, you will get the result. So we are facilitating, can do with assistance, and then we'll leave the entire problem in his hand, and stay away from the problem, stay away from the student, and ask them to solve it. Then the students started to develop self confidence. Actually, we are facilitating, we are giving one seed to them. The seed is giving the formula. So we need, the teacher should be the person who can be a guide or mentor or a facilitator, but we should not be a person who will give all the things like a spoon feeding to the children. That will not help their entire personality's growth. So this is the theory by Godsky. Yes, that's all my session. If you have any doubts, ask.
Thank you, ma'am. Any queries? Any queries from faculty? Okay, thank you, ma'am. And thank you for valuable insights in ethics in education, ma'am. Ma'am, audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
Okay,
much.
ma'am. And thank you, ma'am. Once again, thank you for Malini, ma'am, and Meenakshi, ma'am. Next session tomorrow, 5 p.m., ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.